What's up, everybody? Week 11, what are we doing with it? This game was not my favorite earlier in the week, but I get more and more intrigued by it as the week goes on. The Texans and the Patriots. The Patriots are dead last in defensive DVOA, and the Texans are 28th in defensive DVOA. And we have Cam Newton versus Deshaun Watson. That's really exciting to me. Both quarterbacks have dual threat upside. I know Cam hasn't really shown the passing upside a lot, but let's remember he did go off through the air against the Seahawks. I know it's the Seahawks before he got COVID, but that's the point. Both of these defenses can be had. Deshaun Watson double stacks have been winning us money here for a couple of weeks, and I think that that continues here. So there's a lot of fun options with this one, and think that I don't know, I should say, how popular game stacks, run it back stacks are going to be here, which gets me excited as well. Um, the Lions and Panthers is another one, which is similar. I don't know how popular it's going to be. Obviously, there's a ton of injuries that we have to sift through. But if we just look at the game in general, the Lions are 25th in defensive DVOA and the Panthers are 27th in defensive DVOA. Both defenses we've been attacking all year. Now they're playing against each other. Yes, Stafford has a banged up thumb, but he'll be active. It sucks that there's no Kenny Galladay, but there's also no Danny Amendola, so that makes things interesting for Marvin Jones. Obviously, no DeAndre Swift as well. But what really intrigues me, and I want to find out if Teddy's going to play, but even if he doesn't, I think PJ Walker offers upside because Matt Rule and this coaching staff has proven that they can get it done and they are here to stay. The Panthers are seventh in offensive DVOA, which is absolutely incredible when you look at how bad their defense has been, when you look at the fact that they've only had Christian McCaffrey for a couple of games. So it's really hard for me not to want to at least get one Panther on my team. Mike Davis, obviously a really solid play, but all of the wide receivers are good plays as well. Robbie Anderson continues to see the volume, but hasn't blown up as of recently, so that makes him a perfect tournament play. Curtis Samuel has actually been getting more targets recently than DJ Moore, and I think that it's easy for people to forget, and I don't really know why, but because everybody loves Mike Davis, but Curtis Samuel in the two games prior to McCaffrey coming back and balling out against the Chiefs before he got hurt again, Curtis Samuel had a rushing touchdown in back-to-back games. Against the Chiefs, he had over 100 yards, caught all 9 of his targets, and he didn't do anything last week. Super cheap in DFS, should be low owned, offers dual threat upside. He's really interesting to me to get exposure to this game because it does intrigue me. Why do I think both of those games are interesting from a will they be popular standpoint? Because I think that obviously, did you guys know that Taysom Hill is tight end eligible on FanDuel? I know, let's keep it quiet. Nobody really understands that. But obviously, I think that this Falcons and Saints game is going to be the most popular, which now that we know that Taysom Hill is the quarterback who I think has thrown like 18 passes in his NFL career, that's a downgrade to me for all Saints. You see people talking about, oh, well, this could mean more dump offs for Alvin Kamara. That's literally Drew Brees' game. I mean, there's no way, to me personally, that this is an upgrade to any pass catchers or anybody on the Saints other than Taysom Hill. But what it does intrigue me on is if Taysom Hill has his fun ups and downs, which I think he will, the Saints offense probably is not going to be as efficient. And in fact, I would definitely put money on that. So that means that the Falcons offense might have the ball more. And if they do, of course, this is still a fun game from a fantasy perspective, and we have a lot of fun pieces on the Falcons side of the ball that we can make stacks with as well when we're diversifying our lineups. And then from just a spot standpoint, since those are the 3 games, we have the Steelers, and the Steelers have been in great spots for back-to-back weeks. A couple of weeks ago against the Cowboys, they kind of disappointed us. And then last week, they were a domination stack, which I preached a couple of weeks ago, and then I didn't really see that happening with the Bengals. That's on me. But we go right back to them. They're playing against the Jaguars. 31st in defensive DVOA. The Steelers can do whatever they want. Okay, we just saw it last week. Literally, Deontay Johnson, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Chase Claypool all went off. Big Ben, when his receivers go off, is going to go off. So stacks are in play. And I think James Conner is the quintessential, I got to get the buzzword in there, DFS tournament play this week because he hasn't done anything for a couple of weeks, but he's still the lead back. We still know the upside he has. You guys remember Joe Mixon? I know he's completely out of the picture now, but when he was struggling earlier in the season, the one game where he just went completely off was against this Jaguars team. They're actively tanking, playing Jake Luton. This could be a game where James Conner pops off, and rather than having to predict which wide receiver is it going to be this week, we know the starting running back for the Steelers, and we know what he can do if all goes according to plan. And because he hasn't had a good game in a couple of weeks, that excites me from a tournament standpoint. The Chargers, Justin Herbert, got the haircut, ready to ball, playing against the awful Jets. If I can find it here, I literally can't find it. But the Jets are, there we go, 29th in defensive DVOA, and the Chargers are at home. So obviously everybody's in play. Kalen Ballage, who now is the main running back, and then, we have stacks. We know who the right guys are. Keenan Allen, of course, and then Mike Williams always in play in tournaments, which is kind of what we're talking about here. So, of course, the Chargers are in a good spot. And then the Vikings as well. Obviously, Dalvin Cook is going to be very chalky for good reason. And again, this is one of those things where we don't want to overthink it. I absolutely think Dalvin Cook is a fantastic tournament play as well as a cash game play. But if Dalvin doesn't get the touchdowns, and he will be high owned, of course we know that it's a pretty easy offense to predict from a passing standpoint. Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson, both are legit. Both are really good. You can make some contrarian stacks there as well because the Cowboys 20th in defensive DVOA. Andy Dalton was terrible before he got COVID. Then he's opened up about COVID really wrecking his body and his family, which is absolutely awful. Hope everybody's staying safe out there. Now he's coming back to start. Probably not going to have a good game. So the Vikings should be able to do whatever they want. That's an interesting one as well. And then I'll just throw in the Packers. The Packers are on the road. What's interesting to me is that this game is in the Dome in Indianapolis. Yes, the Colts defense is for real. We know that. But Devontae Adams, banged up, sounds like he's going to play. Aaron Jones. We want to continue to look at this offense because the Packers are second in offensive DVOA. Rodgers is in the MVP conversation, and we know the pieces. It's not that tough to predict. I do believe Allen Lazard is back this week, but overall, there's still some players there. But I would put them at the bottom because, again, those three games are intriguing. The Steelers, Chargers, and Vikings are in really, really good spots. And then, it's just let's not forget about the Packers. That's kind of how I'm taking this slate, and that's where a lot of the players came in my Cash and GPP articles. So once again, thank you everybody, and I hope we have a profitable week 11. Let's get these Benjamins.